All right, happy Thursday night, everybody. It feels like a Friday. We got Tech baseball tonight, then we got softball regionals tomorrow. I mean, this week it just feels like it ought to be Friday, but it is Thursday. That means overrated, underrated, rated right topic. We're talking all-time great or worst TV series finales, the enders, the last show ever of your favorite series. Give us the ones that were overrated, underrated, rated right. You saw our list, some of them earlier today at theraiderland.com in our Thursday column. I'm glad you're out there checking out that and the hot links. All right, so tonight we got that Tech baseball define success this weekend at BYU. It's all about next week. It's all about 4 days in May for Tech baseball. They've got to win the Big 12 tournament to get into the NCAA tournament. So what are you looking for this weekend here tonight, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday? And the beautiful, what is it, the Wasatch Mountains out there? Tech softball tomorrow. Could they become the modern day version of what the Lady Raider basketball team was in the 1990s with Nigeri Kennedy and getting their first toast? Could they become electric in this community the way the Lady Raider basketball team did in the 90s? Why not? NFL games more and more going streaming, not streaking, streaming. Does that bother you at all? Games you'll see, games you won't see. You tell us. Jump in tonight on the United Supermarkets chat line. Easy to do, and we'll have a great conversation tonight. But get your overrated, underrated, and rated right TV series finales ready to go. Let's do it in 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, theraiderland.com, the website. Everything we do archived there. Now be sure you're following us on Facebook, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland, on YouTube. Our channel is Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. Again, it's easy to remember. It's all free. And if you're watching on YouTube tonight, be sure and hit like, share it. Makes my wife happy. You know, everybody's happy. And then on Twitter X, at Ryan Hyatt Media. Coming to you tonight from the Raiderland World Headquarters, brought to you by South Plains College. A lot of great Red Raiders started off as great Texans. The road to Raiderland runs through Levelland for so many people. 100 majors at South Plains College. Check it out. Continuing education. They've got everything. If you're looking for some fun stuff this summer, go to their website, go to their Facebook page, and see what they have to offer for you, your family, your kids, whatever. Also brought to you by Domino's Pizza. That's right. For the first time ever. Stuffed crust by Domino's. The Parmesan stuffed crust pizza. Pepperoni, maybe some peppers or, jalapenos, whatever you want to do with it. They've never done it before. People are loving the stuffed crust pizza. Domino's Pizza, Domino's.com. Order tonight. They'll bring it to you. You can pick it up on the way home, whatever you want to do. All right, let's get it going tonight. You guys on the chat line, brought to you by United Supermarkets at Market Street. It is a graduation weekend, so if you need to get some quick cards or flowers or anything else, they've got you taken care of at your Market Street location. They've got it happening. So where do we go from here tonight? What do you want to do? I am intrigued on the overrated, underrated question tonight. The TV series finales. Most shows end too soon, or too early. Pardon me. Not too early, too late. Sorry. Most shows end too late, not too early, not too soon. Rarely does a show leave TV over the last 50 years or whatever that you're going, man, they should have kept doing it. Most of the time, it's a show that you go, it went a year or two, maybe 3 or 4 too long. That's my overrated finale. My underrated is a show that I liked it. I didn't love it. I liked it. But the finale was just so good, you've got to give it credit. And then the rated right finale is one that I think we all loved of a certain age. Now, all of mine leave you many years over the last 30 years to include later programming. I don't want to steal anything from the 2000s or anything else. Like The Sopranos. Where do you rank The Sopranos series finale? Don't Stop Believing. Breaking Bad, any of those type things. Sex and the City. Is it over yet? Have they finished it? Gilmore Girls. My wife should come in and do a whole graduate level course on the Gilmore Girls. So we ask you tonight, overrated, underrated, rated right TV series finales. The Texas Tech baseball team at BYU, define success this weekend. Lance jumps in on Twitter, X at Ryan Hyatt Media. Kennedy has a team behind her. Yes, she does. I'm not just saying it's her, but I'm saying there are a lot of great similarities between the rise of Lady Raider basketball in the early 90s with Cheryl Swoops, who had a team behind her with Krista Kirkland and Stephanie Scott and Cynthia Klinger and all Teresa McMillan, Jennifer Buck, and all of them in 92 when they won their first Southwest Conference championship and hosted their first NCAA action. Yeah, obviously there's a team. If Kennedy existed in a vacuum, none of this would really matter. She'd be losing games, 2-1, 3-1. So yes, she has a team behind her. My question is, can this softball program capture the hearts and minds of the community the way Lady Raider basketball did in the early 90s and all through the 90s and through, I would say, at least midway through the 2000s? A hell of a 15-year run, 16, 17, however you want to, wherever you want to start the date, I can play with you on that. Do you think this softball program can capture that kind of attention? Law dog, a lot of law around here. Law don't go around here, Sabby. Yeah, winner to the king. The Office finale was great. The 3 final seasons up to it were awful. All right, so this is where I'd have to bring my son in. I never got into The Office. I didn't even like going to The Office when I had an office, let alone watching The Office on TV. So I cannot comment on The Office. I'll take it. I don't know how it ended there at Dunder Mifflin or anything else. Shut up, Ack. Yeah, I heard you the first time. So The Office finale, I don't know why it was great. All right, so real quick, here's my over underrated right TV series finales. You already know this if you were on the website earlier. Want to hear yours tonight. And the reason we're doing this, if you're on social media, Twitter, Facebook, everything else, it's just inundated with the series finale for the Wonder Years ended this day. The series finale for Moonlighting, that was yesterday. The series finale for blah, blah, blah. They all, kind of ended right. All right, so rated right. I'll go rated right, then underrated, and then overrated. Rated right, Cheers. Cheers is a great example of a show that probably went 2 or 3 years too long, but people loved it, and you just kept tuning in, and you're watching it, and it's on, right? We're gonna watch it, and Sam Malone line, "Sorry, we're closed," and how it was a 2-parter, which I get that you had a lot of loose ends to try to tie up. And they were launching Frasier, and they were, trying to do some other things. But just the starkness of the ending, the guy standing outside the bar, "Sorry, we're closed." I thought that was really good. I thought that one I would rate it right. It wasn't incredible, wasn't bad. It ended a series that needed to be ended. The underrated one is the Newhart show. The underrated one was Newhart. Not the Bob Newhart show of the 70s, but Newhart, where they're in the little village inn and what was it, Vermont and everything else. This is my brother Daryl and my other brother Daryl and blah, blah, all that good stuff. But the ending of the series, incredible because it flashes back to the 1970s show. And Bob Newhart wakes up in that 1977 bedroom with Suzanne Plachette as his wife. I just had the strangest dream. Go to sleep, Bob. That one is, to me, one of the most underrated. Could probably go with St. Elsewhere as underrated, where we find out at the end of St. Elsewhere, which again was a show that I really wasn't that into, but I give them credit for a great ending, that it had been entirely concocted in a snow globe that an autistic child had played with. And the theory being that at the end of the series, that the entire series existed in the mind of an autistic child with a snow globe. That one should probably get credit. JC, you can't comment on Office because your office was WKRP. Literally, quite literally, I lived WKRP in so many forms or fashion. On another show, we'll do the entire who was Johnny Fever, who was Herb Tarlick, Art Carlson. I worked with them all. 100%. Get into your comments, your questions tonight. Overrated, underrated, rated right, all-time TV series finales. The best ones, the worst ones, the ones that you think get too much credit, everything else. Where do you want to go on that? You tell me. Tech baseball this weekend. What defines success? First pitch coming up at 7 o'clock there at BYU. Mac Hewer on the mound. I believe the lineups are out. Yeah, there we go. So it's going to be Lopez leading off. The average at 300, but it's better overall in the leadoff position. I think closer to like 340. Kyler Thompson, Logan Hughes, good left-handed bat that you hope you can get him back next year. Damian Bravo, who's been on a tear here of late. Then Antonelli Savateri. Top 5 all-time great name. Robin Villeneuve, 354. And Dylan Max catching tonight. Peyton Schultz at third base. He is really, along with Ryan Coleman, settled things down on that side of the infield over the last month or so. And then Mac Hewer on the mound for the Red Raiders. So they have the starting lineups out. Define success. What do you think? All right, so my overrated show. My overrated series finale comes from probably my favorite TV show of all time, and that would be MASH. But by the time it limped to the finish line, 3, maybe 4 years too late, with Alan Alda having far too much impact on script writing and direction and creative process, that the goodbye, farewell, and amen limp to the finish was just an amalgam of crap. It was not the show that was the show. That the last episode of MASH was not MASH. It didn't encapsulate MASH. It didn't encapsulate the series. It didn't celebrate the series. It was, for the most part, Alan Alda's attempt to create a societal statement on so many different levels that it was pedantic, it was brutal. And really, I promise you, if you go back and watch it today, it's one of the most watched TV shows of all time. 100% one of the most watched TV shows of all time is the series finale of MASH. We had 3 channels. What were we going to watch? And it's just not really good. You know? MASH should have ended when Radar left. I'll give you a couple of more years. I'll give you 2 or 3 more years after Radar left. Not a whole lot, though. Agree 100% on MASH. Dallas was the worst finale. Honest to goodness, I don't even remember how Dallas ends with JR like having another dream or something. Was that it? I can't remember how Dallas ends. I mean, it wasn't the Who Shot JR deal, but I don't even remember how Dallas ended. I just remember my grandmother was very upset that it was ending. She was like one of the last few people that was still watching it there in Olton, Texas. Joseph, if the Super Bowl team remains nationally relevant, Lubbock. Oh, softball. If the softball team remains nationally relevant, Lubbock will be wired. We're asking the question: can softball explode upon the Lubbock sports scene the way Texas Tech Lady Raider basketball did in the early 90s? That is Nigeri Kennedy, the Cheryl Swoops of Tech softball. Now, women's basketball had a deeper history than softball has right now in this area and everything else, and you guys know what I'm talking about. But could they take on that realm at a time when baseball's obviously down? All the other sports are up for the most part. Lady Raiders are down. What level could this softball team rise to? Do you think they can capture the fans? And I look at softball, and I'm not a softball person. I don't pretend to be a softball person. I don't come here and do diamond talk on softball because I don't know the game that well. I don't understand it that well. I'm not going to do that. But I do know that I look at college softball and I watch the players and the joy they have playing. It seems like it transmits, that they have fun, that they're interesting people. That's half the battle in sports, in my opinion. Then I look around this area and you go, there's obviously a ton of girls playing softball. I mean, it doesn't have to be just girls, they can be fans, but families that they seem to connect as people. That this team seems to connect as people, and that if Texas Tech would take the same approach with this softball team that Marcia Sharp did in the early 90s, late 80s and early 90s, and getting them out there and putting them in front of people, go kiss a pig at a fundraiser, go do different things, that I think people will gravitate to them. People, I think, in West Texas crave that because by and large, you don't get that on the football side, on the men's basketball side. Players are coming or going in the new transfer portal area. You don't know who they are or anything. That if softball could commit to making these players, available to the fans, they could have something. I speak from experience. I watched it happen. I watched it happen from the mid 80s, really, even before I was at Texas Tech, from the mid 80s at Texas Tech with Lady Raider basketball. Before then, Texas Tech women's basketball. I saw how this can work, and I see the same ingredients in place if Texas Tech will embrace it. Winning is not enough. Winning is part of it. But if you want people to care, if you want it to matter, you have to go out there and you have to embrace the people. You have to do that. Chris, Dallas basically has a wonderful life, plot line, the film. That's it. That's what I couldn't get to in my brain. That's it. They went there, and the ghost of whatever showed JR what it would be like, and what's his name was going to marry so-and-so and take over the company and everything else. You're right. It was a wonderful life type deal. Lance, I'm on the softball bandwagon. Bandwagon Wednesday. They serve spicy mustard at the Rock. That's all I need to know, right? The Lady Raiders slip out of national prominence when they got rid of the play-by-play guy. They never got rid of the play-by-play guy that I know of. Seinfeld pulled it off, never made the characters. Character, something. So here's the deal on the Seinfeld finale. I didn't see it for almost 10 years. I was calling Texas Tech and Oklahoma baseball that night in 1998 in Bricktown in the Big 12 tournament, seat cushion night, where 12,000 Oklahoma fans rioted throwing souvenir seat cushions after a close play at the plate. Tech won the game, by the way, won the tournament. And I never saw the finale of Seinfeld. So people would talk about how bad it was and everything else. And, years, literally like a decade. I finally saw it. I'm like, oh, wow, yeah, I get it. Now, the finale of Seinfeld, as bad as it may have been, 100% summed up the show. What were the rules? Characters never grow. Nobody hugs. Nobody learns anything. A show about nothing. Andy, the Lady Raiders slipped prominence when they got rid of the play-by-play guy. I'll tell you what, Glenn Seal was a hell of a play-by-play guy. Turn soft. I don't know what that means. My phone has issues. Hang in there, Timbo. It's only Thursday. We're going to get there. Chris, the Seinfeld finale gets a lot of hate, but it's not that bad. Again, it's the finale of Seinfeld more mirrors Seinfeld than the finale of MASH. But MASH gets all this attention because it had the huge ratings. Again, nothing else was on. That was it. That was all that was on. We can go into other shows, your favorite shows, whatever they may be in the time we have. Baseball getting ready to go at BYU. What's success for baseball this weekend? Here's what I want to see. I want to see 5 pitchers pitch very well. Any combination of starters or relievers. I want to see 5 pitchers, hang up zeros, no walks, and, maximize pitch count the most effective you can be. Give me 5 pitchers because you got to get through the first 2 days of the Big 12 tournament to have a chance at the next 2 days. You got to win 4. Give me 5 pitchers this weekend that when you fly back or fly into Arlington, they'll probably go. No, they'll fly back to Lubbock, and they'll go to Arlington on the 20th. So you'll be home for a couple of days. Give me 5 guys that Tim Tadlock can feel like on the mound. I can go with that the first 2 days, and we'll figure it out after that. For heaven's sakes, play good defense. You don't have to be awesome, just play good defense. And then string together innings, all right? No 1, 2, 3 innings, string together at-bats. Make them work pitch counts. Here's why. In the tournament setting, you've got to work pitch counts. You've got to force the other teams to throw a lot of pitchers. You want to drag them out. You want to get to the pitcher they don't want to throw if you're on day 3 or 4. And if you get to day 3 or 4 in the Big 12 tournament, you're probably playing teams that are already in the NCAA tournament that don't want to jeopardize their pitching. So they might just throw out some, dudes that aren't that good. But you got to get them there. You got to get them there. So I want to see pitch counts worked. That's about it, really. Andy, try to pay you a compliment about calling Lady Raiders. I had a great time calling Lady Raider basketball for 25 seasons. Enjoyed every minute of it. Their success was never due to me, nor anything after I quit calling the games. Remember, I came back. Had anything to do with me. But they were great script writers. I loved every minute of it. And just the people that I was fortunate to be around. No broadcaster will ever have that duplicated at Texas Tech or anywhere else. Nobody will ever get to experience what I got to experience firsthand all around the country and other places. Thank you, Andy, though, for the kind words. But, yeah, I always said some of the greatest games I ever called, the Lady Raiders lost. And some of the worst games I ever called, the Lady Raiders won in stunning fashion, and I was merely in the way. So as an announcer, you have to realize that a lot of the love you get is not because of what you're doing, but because of the team, the players, what they're doing. And then sometimes, people say you suck, and it's really like, well, actually the product is not very good. Took me a while to realize that, but finally did. I can't help but think if Tech somehow won the Big 12, they will have a fast exit from a regional. Yeah, they could. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Tech could get white hot next week, win the Big 12 tournament, go, oh, Lord. I mean, they would be going somewhere just awful to play, right off the bat. I mean, like Austin. I mean, you could send them down to Austin, Florida State. Hey, it wouldn't matter. And you'd be going in as you would probably, and sounds crazy, you'd probably go in as a 3, just because most of the 4 seeds are relegated to the one-and-done conferences. It's sort of like basketball on that front, that if you did win the Big 12 tournament, your RPI would be such that they'd probably give you a 3, so you'd have a 2-3. But, yeah. No, I'm not saying this, hey, if they just could get in, they can win the whole damn thing. No, that's not what I'm saying. Not at all. Joseph, I don't want anyone to confuse what I'm saying with 4 days in May to say, hey, if they get in the NCAA tournament, watch out. No, they still have the same fatal flaws. They still have the same problems. We're just trying to figure out a way to keep playing baseball. 27 outs. Series finale, King of the Hill. King of the Hill coming back, by the way, this summer. We're looking forward to it. The series finale, King of the Hill, they didn't know it was the series finale. They got canceled, and they quickly did a rewrite to a script that was already produced. And basically, the last scene makes no sense to the entire episode. And that's where you find out that, Boomhauer is a Texas Ranger, law enforcement officer, not a player. And it didn't work. It was sad. They didn't know. And a lot of series are like that. I couldn't tell you how the Cosby Show ended. I can tell you how Moonlighting ended yesterday, 1989. with them once again breaking the fourth wall, which they did so well. Moonlighting, just one of my favorite TV shows of all time. Moonlighting, Northern Exposure. Moonlighting went off the air probably at the right time. Northern Exposure probably limped along about a year and a half too long. But Dave and Maddie and Moonlighting breaking the fourth wall. What are we going to do? We're going to disappear in 6 minutes. We've been canceled. No. Everything else. If anyone can translate this one, help me out. This is not an RV show. John Revoltus version of something. Help me out on that. Help me. Translate. Raider Wright, Big Bang Theory. Never saw the series, never watched the show, haven't seen the reruns. No idea if the series finale for that was good, bad, or otherwise. Jan, great Texas Tech fan. Never been to the Big 12 tournament for baseball. Oh, you missed out. The early days were so good. The original tournament at All Sports Stadium in '97, the average temperature 134 to the surface of the sun. The Battle of 1917 in the finals, Tech in Oklahoma. Yeah, the early days were great. Have for basketball, hoping this year to make the tournament. Hey, go! It's fun. It's baseball. I understand why they play it at Globe Life. You can control the weather, obviously, and that was obviously always a problem in Oklahoma City. And it's comfortable and everything else. But I hate it being in a Major League Baseball stadium. Bricktown Stadium is the perfect size, 13,000 seats. You could have 7,000 people in there, and it was rocking. You have 7,000 people at Globe Life, and you think the White Sox are in town. But my favorite, as much as I have loved the Big 12 basketball tournament over the years, my favorite was the Big 12 baseball tournament in Oklahoma City in the early years. Craig, and he goes with our underrated, the Newhart Best Series finale, where they wake up and it's 1978 again, and it's Suzanne Plachette. Miss America? She was Miss America, right? Miss America. You're in bed. Go to sleep, Bob. John Travolta version of Gotti, underrated Robert. There you go. We did not get in, maybe tomorrow. NFL schedule release. The NFL makes money on everything. That the NFL can maximize attention on just releasing the schedule is awesome. They could actually monetize a show that makes fun and rips the NFL of monetizing everything they do and air that show ripping the NFL, and they would make money on it. I'm intrigued, though, how many people, and maybe we can do this tomorrow, more and more games are going to the streaming services, the good games on Christmas, Thanksgiving, your holiday games, whether it's Netflix, Paramount, or anything else. And I truly wonder how many people are not affected by that, but that you don't get to do it. You don't get to watch it. That you're not just going to sign up for Paramount just to get the NFL. Now, the NFL is so strong, they believe that people, and by the way, Paramount and Netflix and the streaming services believe that you absolutely will sign up for their service just to get the games. That's why the Cowboys are on there. That's why the Chiefs are on there. That's why the Eagles are on there. The fill in the blank. The Lions. Yes, I know we live in a world where the Detroit Lions are a team that people want to watch. It's crazy. The NFL took away Christmas Day from the NBA a few years back. They've owned Thanksgiving. We're running out of holidays that they can have. You are late, but it's okay. The talking box is indeed on. More people probably tuned into NFL schedule release than the NBA playoffs last night. Yeah. And not just that, but how they do it, online with the social media, videos and how they put that stuff together. By the way, shout out Indianapolis Colts for making fun of the Dolphins and Tyreek Hill. They had to pull theirs down. That's right. It's the days of Bobby Lane. Close box all over again. Detroit Lions can't be stopped. Tobin wrote. Yeah, Tobin wrote. No, Kyle wrote Jr. Kyle wrote Jr. Tobin wrote. Tobin wrote. The hell, I lose track of which one was the older one and which one was the younger one. It don't matter. Just Bobby Lane is back again, or Scott Mitchell, whichever great Detroit Lions quarterback. Greg Landry comes to mind. So many great Detroit quarterbacks. All right, we've had a good time tonight. I'm going to ask you to do one thing and one thing only, and that's share that. Invite your friends in. If you're on YouTube, like it, share it, grow it, tell people about it. They're on YouTube, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. If you're not on YouTube, go over there, sign up. You can watch where you want to, Facebook Live, Twitter X at Ryan Hyatt Media. It don't matter to us, just as long as you're watching. But please help grow the product, help have more people see it. We're going to post this here in a little bit on the website at theraiderland.com. Tomorrow morning, most Texan thing you've done this week. We'll have baseball to recap from tonight. We are first pitch away, just mere moments there in Provo with Texas Tech and BYU, where I've never called a game at BYU, basketball, baseball, or otherwise. The backdrop there is as pretty as it gets, though. My goodness, what a great setting for baseball and sports and everything else. So we'll see you in the morning. We'll see you tonight on Twitter at Ryan Hyatt Media. We got a long ways to go before we sleep tonight. So you guys have fun. Always hit us up on Twitter at Ryan Hyatt Media. And then, share this, tell your friends about it. I got to hit this button. Then I got to hit this button. Let me strike a seductive pose.